Hello and welcome to this Jane's Weather weekly update. It is Friday the 19th of September. We have a 1-2 punch moving across the east. Now what is that? There is a trough that is running in through here with light and patchy rain. Now here is the big band that moves through. There is no radars over the centre of the country here, so we can't actually see the rain falling. But when you see a radar here like this and these and these, that's scatter. That's an error because there's no cloud overhead. If there's no cloud, then there's no wet weather. All of the yellow that is detailed here in the southeast, that is severe weather warnings for damaging winds on Friday into the early hours of Saturday. I'm talking about a 1-2 punch. Here is the trough, first of all. High pressure out to the east, low pressure approaching, isobars are squeezed, so we end up with a funneling of the air, which in terms of what we see that on the ground as wild winds coming down from the north. So here's the trough first of all. Here is the cold front, which is the second part. In behind that, you can see the speckled air, indicating just how chilly that air is. So all of that is moving eastwards. Let's have a look at that. So here is by the end of Friday. So you can see Friday 10 p.m. down through there. Here is the light and patchy rain band. It increases as it moves further eastwards. Now it's not a repeat of the big weather system we had a little while ago. That was a cut-off low pressure system. Cut-off low that tracked across New South Wales, delivering big falls. This is a trough, so yes, we're going to see rain from it. It had a nice surge of moisture come into it, but it's not the huge falls that we saw with that one. So increasing as it moves eastwards today. Here is the second burst that comes through. This is air. This is snow down to 600 metres in through here, so it does have a punch of chilly air with it. So that is the second one that comes up. The rain band moving down in through here into the northern parts of Victoria, then the cold front moving through. That is southeast South Australia, southern parts of Victoria and Tasmania as it moves across. So that's Friday into Saturday. Here it is, still moving in. It increases as it hits the ranges. It decreases on the other side. That's the dry side of the ranges. Here are the remains of that system moving through as it comes in, again hitting the western parts of Tasmania. Next high pressure system all the way back here off Perth. So there are still going to be more systems that come through. Okay, so that's by the end of Saturday. Now let's move into Sunday. Here is the next one that's coming up. This is just a one punch. There's no real trough out ahead of it. All of this has now cleared out of New South Wales and Queensland. So here's the next one coming in. That's later on Sunday and into Monday. But we'll get some pretty cold air with that one extending right up into the central parts of New South Wales. So if you're in Sydney, you're going to feel a chill in the air as we move through later Monday into Tuesday. So there's that cold outbreak coming in. Next high pressure system sitting in through here. So our winds travel in this direction around a high. That means Perth is on the warm side of the high and the southeast is definitely on the cool side of that high pressure system. Bit of activity happening up through here and just very light activity in through Queensland. Heading into Tuesday, we've got the high sitting back through here, so we can still get disturbances come into the southeast. We need that to move through to stop these and also let it warm up. Nice and warm over in the southwest. There's Tuesday. Heading into Wednesday, we might get another disturbance come in because the high pressure system, it's sitting up in through here, so there may be something at the end of next week. Now the modelling currently is showing some very different timing of the outcomes, so we have low confidence in that particular weather period at the moment. Keep an eye on the forecast for this one. You want all of the rainfall ranges to squeeze together to know that we've got better idea of what's coming through with that. So there's a potential for something late next week. We just don't know what the timing of that is. Is it Thursday? Is it Friday? Is it grand final day Saturday? So there's the first look at that one of what that could be. But again, the models are not set in stone yet. How much is that going to add up to? Here is our rain band moving through. I'll just turn this one on. So 25 to 50 millimetres, 15 to 25, 10 to 15 as you move through there. Anything blue is 5 to 10 or even less. So the main areas getting this, southern Queensland, northeast New South Wales, not the other side of the ranges and not the huge falls that last time moved through New South Wales because it's not cut off. It's just a trough system that comes through. In the southeast, front after front after front, starting on Friday night. So that is the southwestern parts of Victoria, the northeast there, the western parts of Gippsland in through there. It's the western parts of Tasmania into the north of Tasmania, drying out as you head into the southeast. Over in the southwest of the country, that's an extended period. We saw the high sitting here for ages. An extended period of warm and fairly sunny conditions. The next system to come up might be next Friday. Okay. So overall, that as a week, we're expecting to have the greens here in the southeast, not heading inland because there's no connection to tropical moisture. We've got the high that is sitting there blocking things. So the southeast is having a wetter than average week, particularly the western parts of Tasmania. It's liking some things in through here, otherwise all of this is looking quite dry, including in the southwest, as you would expect. So that's Monday from the 22nd of September. What does the Bureau say on this? Yeah, they also agree that there's nothing coming out of there. Yes, it's hitting the southeast, but not really travelling inland. It also likes Queensland, but we don't expect a lot of wet weather at this time of year, so an above average rainfall wouldn't be very much. We saw that activity coming around into the top end as well. Again, above average rainfall, not very much for this time of year. So that's the first week. Now let's move into the second week. Perhaps something coming in through here. Is the next feed of moisture coming down from the northwest? Is it potentially affecting the southwest there? Otherwise, all of this is looking quite brown. So maybe the southeast is taking a break in week 2, which starts on the 29th of September. Maybe something into Queensland, maybe something into the top, maybe something coming into the west. That's the Euro. Here is what the Bureau says. They like Queensland as well. They like the top end. They like this coming in here. They don't like it coming through Broome, whereas these guys do sort of like it moving through there. So where it is going to come in is definitely not set yet, but they both have something there. In the Euro model, they've got a lot of brown over the southeast, whereas the Bureau's model, love that they sound so similar, does have something coming into the southeast. So that's a question mark in terms of week 2, which starts on the 29th of September. Okay, sea surface temperature anomaly. How much warmer or cooler the top of the ocean is. All of our warm water around Australia, very, very warm in the Tasman Sea in through here. Box over here, fairly blue, but has started to diminish. We've got a fair bit of blue that is out in this box as well, but still got some yellows in there. Let's start with the Pacific Ocean. That has continued to come down, but not at any fast rate of knots at all. The new weather modelling is in, so all of these model guidance, that comes out. And so there's only one that now has it crossing the threshold. They're all on this side, on the negative side, but there's only one that actually takes it into a proper La Nina. So they're all on the negative side of neutral, but nothing really strong anymore. So we might get there, but most likely all of these models here have it saying not quite crossing that threshold. Definitely not up in through here, nothing El Nino style, but not quite crossing the threshold of La Nina. Having a look at the Indian Ocean, we did our big dip. We're in a negative Indian Ocean dipole. The Bureau will call it, I think, in 1 more week's time because it needs to be there for 8 weeks. They love telling you what has been occurring for the past rather than what the forecast is. So this here is a negative Indian Ocean dipole. We are in it next week. The Bureau will let you know about that. The new modelling has adjusted because they thought they were up here. So this is likely to move out of that negative IOD as it does naturally at the end of each year. So here is our spring and into early summer burst of negative Indian Ocean dipole. How do we see that? We see it with any moisture that comes in from the northwest of the country. This is talking about the feed of moisture that we get here and saying that yes, we are ticking that box. This one for the Pacific Ocean, this is saying that there is going to be a little bit of a feed of moisture coming in. We can also see that the water off here is warmer than average, so tick, we've got that box ticked in terms of moisture. We have that feed of moisture anyway, even if the Pacific Ocean doesn't quite go into La Nina. So moisture galore we have, we just need it to run into low pressure to get that to actually turn into rain. You saw it with the huge rain event that moved through New South Wales with that cut-off low. That's a huge feed of moisture running into low pressure and delivering huge rainfalls. Today it's the trough and the cold front coming in that are taking that moisture and delivering it to those that are in its path. All right, let's do a bit of a whip around the country. In Brisbane, we've got 28 today, so we're lots of sunshine. There is the chance of a little wet weather coming through later on and into tomorrow as well. So there's all of that wet weather that is in the western parts that is moving in. This is the dry side of the ranges, which is the east coast, so we're not expecting a lot from it. Yes, you're going to get some cloud out of that one. Yes, we're going to have a reduction in temperatures, but it's not going to add up to very much. 2 millimetres is the average across the models. As you go back into Sunday, absolutely lovely. Into Monday, temperatures recover. Tuesday is the next chance of something coming in, mainly during the afternoon. A couple of models like it, not all of them. And then we're at 24s and then 27 and 28 as we go through. Having a look at Sydney. Today, we're likely to see this wet weather come in this evening and into the early hours of Saturday. So if you're not outside while it is dark, you might not even know about it moving through. That clears out, ready for Saturday. We're back to bright sunshine. So that clears out pretty much around dawn tomorrow morning and then back up to 22. Heading into Sunday, lovely. Monday, 20. We might get that wet weather coming in later. Now, with this one, look at this as a westerly wind turning southerly. There is our southerly buster coming in, there is our temperatures falling, and there is the wet weather that follows hours after that change comes through. That goes into the early hours of Tuesday and continues into the afternoon as well. And look at those wind gusts, but also look at just how chilly it will be. Get the jacket out for Tuesday. You are definitely going to notice that. That's the biggest day of wet weather, which is 6 millimetres. Back into Wednesday, we're about to 19 and then 23, so the week ends fairly nicely. In Melbourne, we've got lots of sunshine during the day today. Now, let's unpack this. We've got our gusty northerly winds. We've got the early light and patchy rain that came through. That is clearing out. We're into sunshine. We've got temperatures rising into the low to mid 20s. There is this in through here. Now, the eastern parts, the outer east, they have the risk of a shower or thunderstorm late in the afternoon. Most likely that's going to stay out there. It's a ranges thing. It's what's happening in northeastern parts of the state. So we might just see the very edge of that. Most will stay dry. However, this warmth and sunshine will not last into the evening. It's there at the start of it, but this is what is coming. Temperatures will plummet by the end of the footy, about 11 degrees. I'm not joking, and I don't want anyone to go, where on earth did this come from? It's the cold front that is over the bite. It is due in Melbourne tonight. We've got the warm and windy day. We've got the cold and wet night. By the end of the footy, it'll be pouring in about 11 degrees. And it'll still be gusty. Great, what a lovely evening in Melbourne. So that continues through into Saturday, but watch it rapidly clear up during the afternoon. So by the footy on Saturday night, there is no wet weather to deal with, just a blanket of cloud overhead. But temperatures around the same as what we're going to see at the end of Friday night. Heading into Sunday, here is the next one coming through. That next cold front coming up, so it's an afternoon and evening thing. Into Monday, there's another burst of that, so we've got our cold temperatures once again. So 13 or 14 on Saturday, 12 or 13 on Monday with a little rise in between. As we go through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, temperatures very slowly recovering, but no warmth in there yet. The high doesn't move through, and there is the chance of whatever day this comes in, maybe there's two of them as it comes in as well. Could it be Thursday and Saturday, or is it only on Friday? That is still to be determined. The timing of that is not set yet. Do you know the number of people that have asked me for a grand final forecast? I cannot give it yet because the guidance is not set, and so there is zero confidence in what that is likely to be at this stage. It is one to watch to see what happens. As always, come back here and check what the guidance is suggesting. Heading into Adelaide, we have the cold front approaching. That moves through in the afternoon and evening with our burst of wet weather. So on Saturday, lovely, 13, 14 degrees, showers passing through as the next burst comes up. That continues into Sunday. So it is a showery and chilly weekend if you are in the Adelaide area. Heading into next week, 17, 15. It'll warm up towards the end of the week as that high pressure system comes in, but the next wet weather system could be through depending on the timing of that one. And over into Perth, we are nearly done with the wet weather that was coming through. It's just the dregs of that, the leftovers of that today. That is clearing out. Watch our temperatures rise as we go through. By Sunday, it's up in the high 20s. We've got that all of next week. The next change may be on Friday, and there's nothing serious with that one. So this is a very long stretch of warm weather because we've got that high sitting over the bite. That's it for now. I will see you next week. As always, head to Jane's Weather for the latest.